Takeaway Chinese, where you can take some Chinese away and experience progress day by day. Takeaway Chinese, we will promise you a difference.
你好，欢迎收听随行汉语 Welcome to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin with Steve Hatherley in the studio. Hello, Steve.
Hello. It's nice to see you again, and I'm looking forward to today's show. I think I'm going to be learning a lot about, well, we're going to learn some great vocabulary today, of course, as we always do. But I'm going to be learning, and I think our audience is going to be learning something very specific and interesting about Chinese culture and society.
Oh, thanks to you. The reason we're having today's show is one time during a show, you were talking about, there are being honest enough points in Chinese society, and those points can be used to, for example, in occasions where you need deposit, if your points are not high enough. Yet, if it's high enough, you do not need to pay deposit and put the deposit there to enjoy certain services. That's fun. Remember you said that?
Yeah, something about the credit system.
Yes, and that credit system is useful for a lot of different things. And it is kind of a new creation in the Chinese society. It's like we have two credit systems. One major big ones that's related to the important stuff that is not that fluctuated. Unless you're doing something like owning someone a large amount of money and not paying them back, these kind of behaviors would hurt your major serious credit point system. And there's also this not that serious yet useful credit system online that each and every little action would affect that system or that points of yours, yet it's used in situations like renting a bike. You don't have to pay deposit if your credit score is high enough.
So, is this... Remember when I was talking about the fridge that I couldn't open in the downtown hotel? Is this because I didn't have any credit score at that time?
It could be.
I think it was. I think it was related to that. And for our listeners who don't know what I'm talking about, when I first came to China, I was staying in a hotel in one of the downtown areas. And in the lobby of the hotel, they had this fridge. And the fridge can be opened. Well, first of all, it's a fridge to buy things like juices.
It's like a vending machine.
Yeah, it's like a vending machine. There was a QR code there. And I thought, oh, okay, cool. I can buy something here because I have my WeChat set up. And I have some money in my account. So scan the QR code. But it took me to a mini program that I didn't recognize. And I didn't know what was going on. But I tried to navigate my way through it. But when I finally got to the... you have to pay for this. It said, you don't have enough score. And that was the English translation. And I thought, why is it saying score? Is this a bad translation from money? Because I do have money in the account. So I was very, very confused at the time. And I think that's exactly what it was, is that I didn't have a built-up credit score, the one that you're talking about, so that I couldn't make a purchase from that particular
Yes, you couldn't enjoy the service like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And there are now many services that would require a high enough social credit score. And with that, it's getting more and more convenient. Not only that, sometimes, for instance, if you purchase a stuff and you do not like it and you want to return the goods and get your money back, with a high enough score, the system would deem that you're an honest person and you would not return or refund your good for no good reason. So it will give you your money back before the return of your goods actually arrive to the merchant.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so a lot of perks, and we're going to talk about it and also the logic behind it in today's Takeaway Chinese.
I've noticed that sometimes, getting returns. Sometimes my wife will order something online. She orders stuff online all the time, but occasionally she has asked for a refund. And she and I were both really surprised at how easy and how quickly that refund process took place. And I guess I know it's because her social credit score is good enough that it allows her to qualify for that.
Yes.
This is a fascinating thing, isn't it? The social credit system.
It definitely is. And I think it has something to do also with the fast development of technology. And people started to be able to trust each other because the cost of doing something wrong is getting higher and higher. And the benefit of doing something wrong to gain profit is also getting lower and lower. So it's better to do the right thing because the right thing happens to be the beneficial thing.
I think doing the right thing, of course, as a person in general is always a good rule to follow. But here in Asia, I find that that virtue of honesty in a public setting or a public space in society is really valued, almost seen as more important than perhaps it is in the West. And you can argue with me about that statement because I'm not entirely sure. It's just kind of a feeling that I have. Let me give you an example. I remember I signed a work contract when I was living in Korea. In the contract, it said, if party A, me, makes a mistake during work and doesn't show sincerity in the apology, then that could be cause for termination. I thought, that's interesting. I've never seen a clause
like that
before. So the importance was showing sincerity in the apology, not just the apology itself, but actually being sincere in the apology. And it was at that time that I learned, this is a virtue, this is a trait that's really held in high regard in this part of the world.
Yes. And that is why the key word for today would be 诚信. So let me share that in the very beginning. 诚信.
诚信.
诚 stands for 诚实. 诚实 means honest. Being honest.
Okay.
And 信, 信用. 信 is like a promise. And 守信, for instance, is to keep the promise. So 诚信 together is I'm honest and I always keep my promises.
So it's both of those things together. I'm honest and I keep my promise.
诚信. 诚信.
诚信.
Yes, so that is the key word of today's Takeaway Chinese. If you're interested in Chinese culture and you want to get a grip on the Chinese language, then this is the show for you. Stick with us for 30 minutes and you soon see the rewards. And for more fun Chinese learning, follow our Facebook page, Learn Chinese, to watch many fun videos and live streams. But now, let's provide you with some free Chinese for takeaway. Talked about honesty as a fundamental virtue in Chinese culture. It's deeply rooted in Confucianism, traditional values, and moral teachings, and it is regarded as essential for personal integrity, social harmony, and trust in relationships, which is why I earlier said that there are two major types of honest or credit system. One is the very important major ones, unless you owe someone tens of thousands of yuan and you do not return them, which hurt your major, big, important credit system, which would cause, for instance, you cannot buy railway tickets anymore. You cannot purchase a plane ticket anymore.
You can't buy luxury goods.
You cannot loan to purchase for an apartment, something like this. These are the major ones.
Yeah, this is the credit system that would be comparable to the Western credit score system.
Yes.
I think not exactly the same, but comparable for sure, I think.
Yes. And those are the quite serious ones. And there's this online credit system that's mainly based on different platforms you use. For instance, your Alipay credit system and your WeChat credit system are two systems. And when you use these two payment tools, payment applications, they are scoring you in different ways. And yet they're still quite useful and they can be found in different scenarios. And we are going to dig into it. So we already know the word 诚信, being honest and keeping promises. And let's expand it a little bit. So 诚 represents 诚实, honest.
Okay.
So 诚实,
诚实,
honest. And 信 represents 守信.
守信.
守 means to keep. And 信 is a 信用or 承诺. It's a promise. So 守信, keep one's word.
Yeah, I was going to say to keep your word.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So 诚实, that's honest. And 诚信 is to keep your promise.
and being honest. So it's kind of like integrity and honesty.
So then why is it a different word to keep one's word?
守信.
守信.
守信 is exactly to keep your promise, whereas 诚信 is, to start with, I think 诚信 is a noun, whereas 守信 is more of a verb to keep the promise.
Okay.
And 诚信 is a kind of virtue a person can have.
Got it. Yeah, but it's 守信 is the action of actually doing, like keeping your promise.
Yes, and your promise can also be translated in Chinese to 信用.
信用.
Yes, so 信用 is the credit or trustworthiness or your promise. So 守信 is also 守信用,有信用. So if you say 这个人很有信用, you're saying that this person is a person that is with credit, is trustworthy.
This is a little off topic, but a question about Chinese people and how people react to certain things. So because we know that honesty is one of the fundamental virtues in Chinese culture, and we know that it's deeply rooted in Confucianism, as you said, then that means that people in society hold that in a high regard. So my question is, if you were to question someone's honesty.
Oh, it's serious. It's a big deal.
Okay, right. That was going to be my question. In a work setting
it's totally huge deal. If you say, I do not believe you, or I do not believe what you just said, I think you're lying. It's a huge accusation. Do not do that lightly.
That's exactly what my point was going to be. I wondered that. Yeah, okay, that's a great thing to know. And then conversely, I suppose it would be a wonderful compliment to say to someone, you're always so honest. I always appreciate your honesty, something like that.
Yes, but in Chinese, if you say 你很诚实, I don't know. I think it's because honesty is something so fundamental. It's something that we value so much. We see it instead of like a plus point. We see it as something that people should hold anyways.
So you don't get an extra reward. You don't get an extra cookie for doing something that you're supposed to do.
If you say 你很诚实, 你是一个诚实的人, you're a honest person, it's a compliment for a kindergartner. It's not really a compliment for your colleague.
I understand.
Yes. And also in Chinese, we have 相信, that's belief.
相信.
Yes. And 信任, that's for trust.
Okay.
It's close because they share one same character, yet like believe and trust, there are different levels of believing something and trusting something.
Can you give me those two words again for belief and trust?
For belief, it's 相信.
相信.
For instance, if you say 我相信你, I believe you, of course, it's almost always referring to what you've just said. So I believe you. I believe what you said. 我相信你. But if you say 我很信任你, it's I trust you. 信任.
Okay, so the first example, 相信你, is
believe you.
If somebody says something and then, I don't know, they say it a second time, you can say like 相信你.
Yes.
I believe what you said. Yes. Okay. The other one more time with the pronunciation, please.
信任.
信任. 信任. I trust you.
I trust you.
So 相信 is a stronger meaning than 相信你. Right?
It is. It is.
Okay.
It's just like in English.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
And I've just said that if you say someone is a honest person, 是一个诚实的人. By the way, 诚实 is honest. It's a adjective and it means honest. So 诚实的人. Not exactly a huge compliment, but you can say 他是一个真诚的人. This person is a sincere person.
Sincere.
Yes, that is a compliment.
Okay, so what's the word for sincere?
真诚.
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 Perfect.
真诚.
真 means real. 诚 means 诚实. So he's real, he's honest, he says things that he believes in, not only because it's the easier thing to say at the scenario. When he compliments you, it's not because it's easy to say, you look great today. Actually is because
They believe that you look great today.
Yes.
They actually think you look great today.
Yes.
It's the opposite of lip service. Okay. 真诚你.
真诚的人. It's an adjective. So
Okay.
a sincere person. Or you are sincere. Remember, when it's this kind of sentence structure, instead of saying you are in Chinese, we say you very or this very. So 你很真诚, you are very sincere.
你很真诚.
你很真诚.
So that's interesting, though, isn't it? Because if you say to someone, you are honest, then that's not a huge compliment because people assume you're supposed to be an honest person. Of course I am. But if you say you are sincere, then that can be a nice compliment for someone.
Yes, because we can all tell a white lie sometimes. Right?
Yeah.
And
Wow,
then-
your hair looks great. Like that.
Yes. But if someone has the tag of being sincere,
Yeah.
then you know whatever he or she says is from the deepest corner of their heart.
But it doesn't have to be a compliment.
It
all the
doesn't
time.
have to be a compliment.
Sincerity isn't always wrapped in a pretty package.
But we talked about how important it is to be a honest and sincere person in Chinese culture. And that explains how come we have a lot of different idioms talking about the importance of being honest.
Okay.
There are serious ones, which I would share, and there are funny ones. So let's start with the serious ones.
Right.
A Chinese idiom, 言而有信, is actually quite easy. 言 means to say something. 而 means then. 有 has or have. 信 信用. 信用 is, we talked about it, promise or integrity or trustworthiness.
言而有信.
Yes, 言而有信. So his words mean something. The words are trustworthy. So if
Okay.
you say something, the thing would come true.
Okay, so it's not that you can believe that person. This is like they are like a psychic somehow?
No. It is, you can believe this person.
Oh, okay. It's as simple as that.
Yes.
So in what context can I say to someone, 言而有信你?
你要言而有信. You should say things and actually mean it and deliver it. That's basically what you're saying.
Okay.
你
So
要言而有信, or 做人要言而有信. To be a person, one needs to keep their promises.
So then this is an idiom. This isn't something that you would say to somebody. Like about them, meaning like, I know you, I trust you, your words mean something.
You can use it like that as well. You
Okay.
can say 你是一个言而有信的人. You are one person whose words mean stuff.
Okay.
And the thing about Chinese idiom is that when you use it in daily languages, there are certain idioms that you use more often in spoken language. And there are some idioms that you use much, much more often in written language.
Oh, okay. So which one is this?
This one, I feel like it's more used in written Chinese.
Okay.
And a similar one would be 言必行,行必果. So 言 means say things, speech or words, and 必 means must. 行 is action. So 言必行 means if I say so, I would do so. 言必行.
言必行.
Yes, and the second part of the idiom takes things to another level. 行必果. 行 we already know is action. And 果 stands for 结果, results. So when I do things, it will have effect. There will be positive results because of my action.
If I say, we express it in English like this, maybe. If I say I'm going to do it, I do it. Like that? But there's no connection to a positive result, though.
The second part is if the entirety of the idiom conveys the idea that if you say something, if you say you do it, you have to do it. And when you put action in it, there has to be positive results.
Okay, so it's kind of like, if I say I'm going to do it, I'll do it, and the end result will be good.
I will deliver.
I will deliver. 言必行，心必果.
Yes, 言必行，行必果. And there's this one I must share. I think I've shared it a couple of years ago, and my co-host back then enjoyed it so much. It's a funny Chinese idiom, also an idiom that is usually used in written language, and in itself it is it's almost a complete sentence, which is why you do not use it with other words a lot. But this idiom is 食言而肥.
食言而肥.
食 means to eat. 言 is your words. 而 means then, and 肥 means fat. It's like saying if you eat your words back, which means you don't deliver. You say it, but you didn't do it. You'll be fat because of it.
Okay, so the literal translate so
R means then.
Okay.
So eat your words and get fat.
Then
It's like you
you'll be
eat
fat.
your words so much, too much, that you're fat.
You've eaten so many of your words.
You broke so many of your promises.
You broke so many of your promises. So 食言而肥.
食言而肥.
食言而肥. So when can I use this? When somebody breaks a promise, I can just say 食言而肥.
You can.
Okay, so if I said,
Attacking them with
hey,
your words.
we were supposed to have coffee at 2 p.m. and then I have a better example. Steve, let's do our takeaway Chinese show at 3 o'clock. And then it's 3:30. And someone who hosts this show says, I'm sorry. Then I can say, 食言而肥.
Yes, you can actually
Perfect.
say
This
that.
might be the most useful Chinese sentence I have ever learned.
I regret teaching you that already. It's a Chinese idiom. It was fun. And I think learning these kinds of idioms would make learning the language also a bit more interesting.
So, question. Now, in this context, we were obviously joking. And when I said this to you, I was joking and you took it as a joke. Can you use this idiom 食言而肥 in a more serious context where you're not joking?
Of course, you can use it in sentences like 要做言而有信的君子. So 要做, you should be. 言而有信, we talked about it. Always keep their promises. It's a adjective in this sense. 的 someone or apostrophe s. 君子 is a gentleman, traditional Chinese sense of gentleman. So one should be a gentleman who always keeps his promises. 不要做, don't be. 食言而肥的小人. So 食言而肥 is break their promises. 小人 is someone who is not a good person.
Okay.
So don't be this kind of person who broke their promises.
Okay. How about this? Like boyfriend, girlfriend are fighting because he canceled the date for the 5th time or something like that. Then in angry sense, can she say to him, 食言而肥?
She can, but it'll be too...
What I'm trying to ask is, does this idiom or does this sentence also hold a strong impact emotionally if you want it to?
You know, to be honest, I do not think this idiom is used in daily language that much, which is why I say it is mostly used in written language.
I see.
And some idioms are not meant to carry too much emotion
Right.
because they have too long a history background, and using it in real life situation can be a little strange.
Okay, understood. Thanks for the explanation.
Of course. You're listening to Takeaway Chinese with myself, Niu Honglin, and Steve. We'd love to hear from you. Send us your thoughts via email to learnchinese@cri.com.cn. Coming up next, let's talk about the credit system here in China. Don't go away, so you will take some Chinese away. Welcome back to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin with Steve in the studio. In today's society, honesty is more than just a moral principle. Many services offered by private companies are built upon trust and transparency. Individuals with high credit scores on different platforms would be able to enjoy different types of services, and some of them are very are going to make your life much easier and make it very convenient for you to do all sorts of things.
This is going to be a great learning experience for me because this is the type of stuff that I tend not to know about, and that's actually has nothing to do with China. It has more to do with my personality. It's like if you have a credit card and you don't know what the actual benefits of that credit card are, that's me. So please instruct and teach me about all the different benefits that could be had.
Sure. When you talk about credit card, let's first know how to say credit card in Chinese.
Oh, sure.
Credit card in Chinese would be 信用卡.
信用卡.
信用 is literally credit, and card is a card, 卡.信用卡.
Are you using two syllables there? 信用卡啊?
No, 卡 is one syllable.
信用卡.
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 And that is credit card.
Okay.
And credit cards, when you apply for a credit card, I think it's universal, not only in China. Depending on your previous purchasing records, you would be granted different threshold of the money you can use for your credit card.
Yeah, and that's common, I think.
That's common,
everywhere.
Yes. Yet here in China, since we use online payment system a lot, we use food delivery system a lot, we use online shopping platforms a lot, in each and every one of these platforms, there would be a credit score for you.
Yeah.
And when they expand their services to, let's say, bicycle renting services, that's bike sharing service, power bank renting service, or any kind of renting service, if those credit score on those platforms of yours is high enough, you do not need to pay a deposit.
Yeah, and this is really important information to know, I think, if you are going to be living in China, because I'll give you an example of a mistake that I used to make and now I don't make it anymore. When you order a taxi or use a ride-hailing service, at the end of the ride, I wouldn't check it. I would just put my phone in my pocket and say goodbye. And then maybe like a day later or something, I would get a message saying, you haven't paid for your ride yet. And I realized, oh, shoot, the mistake that I made was I assumed it would just automatically take the payment away from my account. I didn't realize that I actually had to click pay for the ride.
That's right. But to avoid situations like that, you can change the setting
to auto deduct.
To auto deduct.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Well, yeah.
Because I forgot.
And again, right? So, but I mean, the reason this is important is because I don't know, but I'm guessing this could have an impact on your score if you are always delaying your payments by a few days or something like that?
It depends on different types of platforms because there are more than one car hailing apps here in China. You have to read the specific clause of each platforms. Some platforms, I believe, would not punish you because of this. Yet, if, for instance, you rent a bike and instead of putting the bike back to where it should be parked, you take it into a community or residential community area.
Yeah, and leave it there where you're not supposed to.
Then that would definitely affect your credit score. And there are also occasions on shopping platforms. Say you purchased an item and then you return the item because you want your money back. Yet instead of having the clothes or the product the way, well, basically intact, you leave a stain on the clothes or something's wrong with the product you purchased and then you return it or you stamp on it, something like that. Yeah. It, with enough evidence, the merchants or the shop owner would report this behavior to the platform and that would affect your credit score.
And if it affects your credit score, it's going to impact your interactions or your dealings in the future.
And it would deprive you from enjoying the try before you pay service, which in Chinese is 先用后付.
先用后付.
先 means first or in advance or ahead of. 用 means to use. And 后 means later, after. 付 is 付钱 or 付款 is to pay. So use it and then pay for it.
So what types of things can we use that for?
All types of things. When I purchase online, I can even use the 先用后付 shopping form or model, and I pay for nothing. And the goods arrive, and if I like it, I click, I received it and like it, and then my money would go to the account of the shop owners.
Huh.
Very nice.
And if you don't, then you simply click return, and they will come and pick it up.
Yes, free of charge.
And this is all because of your social credit score, your strong social credit score, that you are allowed to do this because the vendor...
Trust me.
Because they can see your social credit score and they say, oh, okay, this is a trustworthy individual. I don't need to worry about being scammed here.
Yes, and remember the service or the phenomenon that surprised you and your wife of returning your goods and getting your money back. One, you do enough good things on the platform. The platform would deem that even if they give you your money back in advance, before you even send back the goods, they trust that you will send back the goods, and they trust that you would not break the product before sending it back.
So in this type of system, whenever everything goes great, then it's just kind of like, well, this is the way things function in society on a daily basis. But when things go wrong, it must be a big deal, because then you're going against the norm of how society normally functions on a daily basis,
yes.
right?
And I think that is also why there are two, like I said in the beginning of the show, there are two types of these credit scores. One is different from different platforms you use, different services you enjoy, and the major ones. So if you make small mistakes on just one specific platform, it would not affect your life heavily. But if it's the major stuff, then not good for you.
Yeah. Question then. So it's not necessarily about how high the number is with your credit score. It's more about a good or not
good enough. Yes.
Not good enough.
Yes. And in general, my feeling is that one, we are with the habit of doing the right things. If we like the goods, we keep them. If we don't like them, we at least return them well intact. And we do not deliberately do not pay the taxi driver after so many days.
Yeah.
We do not do it on purpose. We have a habit of doing things right. Then we are awarded because of those right behaviors.
This just occurred to me right now. You know those, you can find them in shopping malls, or we have one at the gym. Restaurants often have them, which is an amazing thing here. External battery, right? And there's like a battery bank, and then you go and you scan the QR code, and then you can get it just magically comes out of the slot, and then you can charge your phone, and then when you're finished, you put it back. The first time I did that, it charged me, I guess it was a deposit for the thing. Then I noticed later, and I said to my wife, oh, that's different. It didn't charge me anything other than using it. Is that because my social credit score?
Yes, on that platform.
So because I was a good boy.
Yes.
Then it said, oh, okay, we don't need to charge you a deposit because we trust that you're just going to bring this back.
Yes. And that is why not only on different platforms or in life, we also have this expression in Chinese. We call it 攒人品.
One more time, please.
攒. 攒 means to keep something, to save something.
Yeah.
And 人品, initially, standard Chinese, standard Mandarin, 人品 is like the quality of you, like whether or not you're a good person.
Yeah.
人品好 means this is a good person. 人品不好, this person has some serious issue and it's fundamental about how he act in life. So it's not something light. Yet we're using it I think we're using it in a lighthearted way, and we are using 人品 as an intangible social credit. So when you do good things in life, when you help people, when you're being nice to your neighbors, when you take care of kids on the street, you are getting higher of 人品, higher of this kind of social credit. And when you do those things, we believe good things would happen to people who 攒人品. Karma.
Yeah. Okay, this is really good information to know, and it answers a couple of questions that I had about why some things were happening in my life or weren't happening anymore.
Yes.
And I didn't know about this.
So I think the main takeaway, besides all the takeaway Chinese language points you can take away, is that when you're here in China, do good things, and the society, platforms, company, and everything would reward you.
You're rewarded for it. Yeah.
Yes. And that brings us to the end of today's Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin with Steve here in the studio. For more episodes of the show, you can visit our website at radio.cgtn.com and go to the column podcast. You can also listen to the show and read the script there. Find us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Just search for Takeaway Space Chinese. Don't forget to leave your questions, comments, and a 5-star rating. 感谢收听，我们下次再见。
Thank you. 谢谢. See you next time.